Hey guys, Horror Lorekeeper here. We thought the dealer was just a scary AI. We were wrong. Look at the waiver. Look at the tape on the shelf. The dealer isn't running a gambling ring, he's running the afterlife. Because he won it from the previous owner, and the game tells you that in the most disrespectful way imaginable. A legal document signed in blood. If you ignore that, Buckshot Roulette stays a clean little horror puzzle. A shotgun, a table, a man who doesn't blink. If you don't ignore it, the whole room changes. That rusty light isn't ambiance, it's a funeral lamp. Because this isn't a casino, it's a throne room with bad plumbing. And you're not here for 70 grand, you're here to play for custody of heaven. Before we look at the proof, let me know in the comments if there's another game you want me to uncover the secrets of. I read everything. Now, let's open the contract. The waiver that shouldn't exist. The first thing the dealer does isn't threaten you. He doesn't snarl, he doesn't lecture, he makes you sign something. A general release of liability, a consent form, a paper shield, so when you die, nobody can sue him from beyond the grave. That's already sick on its own. The dealer doesn't just kill people, he notarizes it. You type a name, you hit enter, the room accepts you, and right there the game whispers its real rule. This table runs on permission, the two names you're not allowed to be. Most horror games let you name yourself anything. Buckshot Roulette blocks 2 words. Try to sign God. The game refuses. Try to sign dealer. Same result. It's not censorship, it's hierarchy. Those names aren't usernames. They're titles that already belong to someone. Steam even stamps the God attempt with a hidden achievement. Name taken. The description is 1 word. Deicide. Not error. Not lol. Deicide. That's the act of killing a god. So before a single shell is loaded, the game has already told you, God played, God signed, God lost, and the dealer is not a role you can cosplay. He's the one sitting across from you right now. God's waiver, the blood receipt. Halfway through the run, the item box coughs up something it shouldn't have. A second waiver, not yours, someone else's. It's bloodied, it's old, and in the name slot it says God. The moment you see it, the vibe shifts. It's the only time Buckshot Roulette feels embarrassed, like the game accidentally revealed a private file. The waiver gets snatched back into the box almost immediately, like the room itself is trying to hide it. That detail matters, because it means this isn't background lore the player can ignore. It's contraband, a forbidden document you weren't meant to hold for more than a heartbeat. That's why it lands like a brick. The dealer has already had a previous player, not a person, not a gambler. The source code of reality. God didn't leave, God lost. There's a reason Buckshot Roulette hits so hard. It never stops being practical. The bathroom tiles are filthy because people come in here to shake. The computer monitor hums because it's old tech, not magic. The shotgun is real, the shells are real, the defibrillator is real. So when the game drops a God signature into your hand, it doesn't feel like myth, it feels like paperwork. And then there's the outside confirmation. In a public Q&A about the game, the answer is blunt. God lost to the dealer. No choir, no thunder, just a sentence. That's the horror. God didn't vanish. He didn't get bored and walk away. He sat at this table, signed the same paper you signed, and he lost. Same rules, same gun, same ugly light. The tape that turns rumor into evidence. Now if the waiver was the hint, the multiplayer room is the victory lap. Because on a shelf stacked like old training videos and maintenance recordings, there's a cassette labeled Dealer vs. God Copy. A copy, meaning the original exists, meaning the match wasn't myth, it was an event worth replaying. And the wording matters. It's not God's fall, it's not end of heaven, it's framed like a boxing match, like 2 champions. Dealer versus God. That makes the dealer's vibe snap into focus. He isn't a demon stalking a victim, he's a competitor. He's polite because he respects the ritual. He explains the rules because he wants a fair win. He's calm because he's done this before with bigger prey. The shelf has other tape names too. Stuff that sounds like engineering, like accidents, like money dispenser incident 1998. But Dealer vs. God sits in the middle of it like a crown jewel. A recording of the day the universe changed ownership. The setting is a hint, not just aesthetic. The game takes place under a nightclub. A rave is thumping overhead. You can feel it through the ceiling like a heartbeat you don't have. That detail isn't random, it's a contrast. Upstairs, living people burning through the night, drowning fear in bass and booze. Down here, a table that turns fear into a contract. This isn't where you go to party, it's where you go to be processed. And the fact that the year is stamped as 1998 makes it worse, because it plants this nightmare in a specific era of cheap electronics, CRT glow, cigarette stench, and rusty metal. No futuristic sci-fi excuses, just human grime. If God lost here, it wasn't in a cathedral, it was in a basement under a club. Like the universe is embarrassed of how it happened. The spiked heaven. If the dealer beat God, the question becomes simple. What did he win? The game answers that if you die in the final round, you don't fade out. You don't get credits. You pass through a rusted bronze gate. Metal spikes jut into an all-white sky. No clouds, no warmth, no welcome. Just an empty industrial afterlife. And the text, "You are dead." The first time you see that, it's easy to read it as style. A cool limbo scene, a horror postcard. But put it next to the waiver signed God, and it changes shape. That place isn't heaven. It's heaven after an eviction. It's what happens when the person in charge is gone, and the next owner doesn't care to decorate. A domain maintained like a basement workshop. Functional, cold, sharp. Those spikes feel like the theme of the whole game, punishment by hardware. Even Paradise gets refitted. So the dealer's win wasn't money. It wasn't bragging rights. It was jurisdiction. He didn't just kill God. He inherited the keys. Re-items aren't tools. They're vices. Buckshot Roulette pretends it's just strategy. A math problem with blood. Then round 2 hits, and it starts handing you items. Little props that look like they were grabbed off a counter in a bad club. Beer, cigarettes, a saw, handcuffs, a magnifying glass, and those pills sitting in the bathroom like an invitation. On paper, they're mechanics. Beer lets you rack the shotgun and cycle a shell. Cigarettes give you a little life back. Handcuffs freeze a turn. The magnifying glass turns panic into information. The saw turns the gun into a butcher tool. And the pills, they open the loop. They let you choose double or nothing after you already survived the real game. Mechanically, that's variety. Narratively, it's a confession, because everything the dealer offers you is a way to cope. Beer is numbness. You don't drink beer to become smarter. You drink beer to stop feeling. Cigarettes are slow suicide you can hold between 2 fingers. A tiny ritual where you pay for calm with your lungs. Pills are the sharpest one, a shortcut back into the room. Not because you have to, because you want the chance to double down. So when I call the item sins, I'm not doing poetry for fun. The room literally stocks the table with human bad habits and calls it strategy. Pills, addiction, beer, sloth, cigarettes, slow suicide. And if that sounds dramatic, look at what the dealer does with them. He doesn't hand you holy relics. He hands you the same stuff people use to survive bad nights. Then he watches you spend it. So even when you outplay him, you're still playing with corrupted pieces. You're still taking power through poison. The dealer's biggest trick, he keeps bringing you back. Here's the part most people miss because they're focused on the shotgun. In the early rounds, you can't die permanently. The defibrillator system drags you back. It shocks you. It patches you. It turns death into a temporary inconvenience. That mechanic is framed as mercy. See? You get a few chances. No, that's the dealer farming attempts. He's stretching the moment. He's keeping you on the hook. Because the game isn't about murder. It's about ownership. A normal killer wants you dead. The dealer wants you invested. He wants your hands shaking over the same contract. He wants you desperate enough to swallow those pills and walk back into the room voluntarily. Not for cash, for meaning. That's why the money number matters. 70,000 is bait. It's just enough to make you think this is still a human crime. But the final round strips the defibs away. No more safety net. No more resets. That's when the dealer finally stops playing nice. Not because he's angry, because the table is done training you. Why the dealer acts like a professional. Watch how the dealer behaves. He explains the rules. He sets the rounds. He gives you the same resources he uses. He looks like a monster who believes in sportsmanship. That's not kindness. That's protocol. A throne doesn't need to cheat. A throne needs legitimacy. If the dealer truly replaced God, then his whole job is to make this feel official, to make it feel like a system, not a mugging, paperwork, permission, procedure. And the proof is in that forbidden name list again. You can't sign dealer because the dealer is not a name. It's an office. Nobody else gets to write judge on a court document and become the judge. Nobody else gets to write God on the waiver and claim the sky. Those spots are filled. The twist, you aren't playing for money. This is the real reason the dealer keeps bringing you back. This is the real reason the game loops. He wants a rematch, not with you, with the job. Because if God can lose the throne can be taken. And you're the first thing in a long time that looks like a challenge. $70,000 is pocket lint compared to what's actually sitting on the line. Authority over the gate, control over the spike-filled heaven, the right to decide what happens after the screen cuts to black. That's why the dealer is so clean about permission. He wants you to sign willingly. He needs you to opt in. If this was just murder, he'd drag you in. If this is a transfer of power, he needs the contract. He needs you to accept the rules. That's how you steal a universe without anyone noticing. You turn it into a game. Why God sat down in the first place. There's a nasty implication hidden in the waiver scene. God wasn't dragged into this. God signed, which means the dealer's win wasn't just violence. It was temptation. The dealer didn't need chains. He needed bait. A simple pitch, one game, my rules. If you win, you keep everything. If you lose, you walk away. That's how you catch something immortal. You don't threaten it, you challenge it. God's weakness in this story isn't mortality, it's ego. He sat down because he believed luck can't touch him. He sat down because he believed the table was smaller than him. He sat down because he believed he could look the dealer in the face, load the shells, and prove that nothing in creation could make him flinch. And the dealer let him believe it. That's why the environment is so mundane. No flaming pit, no choir, just a nightclub basement and a legal form. The trap wasn't supernatural, it was human. The same kind of trap that works on everyone else. Sign here, agree to the terms, play one more round, then the world changed hands. So when you see that spiked heaven, don't picture God dying like a man. Picture God losing custody. Picture the lock being changed while he's still holding the keychain. Picture the gate staying open, but the warmth being removed. Because the dealer didn't conquer heaven, he repossessed it. The dealer didn't kill God with a gun, he killed him with a table. The gun is loud, the gun is scary, the gun gets the thumbnails. The real weapon is the table. The table is where God was reduced to a player, where heaven got converted into a win condition, where morality got filed under liability. A shotgun blast kills flesh, a contract kills authority. God didn't lose because he was weaker. He lost because he agreed to the rules of a room that was built to make him bleed. And the dealer? He didn't become almighty by growing horns. He did it the way everything else gets taken in the real world, with a signature, a loophole, a document nobody read. So here's the story Buckshot Roulette is actually telling, under the math and the jump scares. God came down to a filthy club in 1998, sat in front of a stranger with dead eyes and signed his name on a waiver. The dealer played fair. He played calmly, and he won. Now heaven is a rusted gate and a sky like bleach, a place with spikes instead of angels. And you, the player, keep waking up in that bathroom because the dealer is lonely in the worst way, not the nobody likes me way. The I replaced God and it still isn't enough way. So he runs the same match again. He feeds you vices. He watches you gamble your nerves. He keeps the paperwork clean because he's searching for the one person who can finally take the job off his hands, or at least make him feel something while he keeps it. That's the punchline. Dealer versus God isn't lore, it's history. Drop your take in the comments. If you've seen the shelf up close, read the other tape names, or caught the exact moment the waiver gets yanked away, leave the details. This game hides its corpses in props, and props don't lie. Thanks for watching, and remember, if the first thing the monster hands you is a waiver, it means the rules already killed someone bigger than you.